Good. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. My name is Thomas Wissbach from Deutsche Börse. So as you can see, we are as well still in the home office. It'll soon change, but for me, it's now a year working mostly from home, and I look forward to returning to the office soon, which gives the work another flavor. But for the time being, we are still here. Deutsche Börse, as you know, may know, some certainly know, is the financial market infrastructure operating in Germany. So we have the full flavor of exchange services from trading, clearing, and settlement. And from that angle, we have quite early engaged into the topic of digital transformation and distributed networks, as I named my presentation here. We started more or less 6-7 years ago to look into DLT, and this is more or less what I will be talking about today. We have since 3 years a dedicated team of 15 to 20 people working on concrete use cases. From that, we developed some ideas what we can do in practice. And this is really what I'm now concentrating on. I will give you a few use cases where Deutsche Börse is actively engaging and working towards the implementation and the change of networks and services. What you see on this slide more or less is that we are definitely convinced, and we heard a couple of reasons for that we will see decentralized networks in the future replacing central architecture. So this is for us not a question, it's just a matter of when it will come, but it will come. And having that on mind, we
Thomas, sorry, we cannot hear you. Again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. You still see my screen?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay. So I continue here. So our working title infrastructure of the future is called.
It's that we again lost you.
So I changed the mic again, but this is all I can do in the application, Aman.
Okay, no worries.
I don't know what's happening there.
I will just let you know if it happens.
Yeah, maybe I stop sharing, and this helps to give more whatever bandwidth, and you share.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I stop sharing.
No problems. Артем, пожалуйста, поделись презентацией Deutsche Börse.
Artem is going to share the Deutsche Börse presentation.
We'll share your presentation.
Good. Can you?
What the slide is?
Next slide, please. Next slide. This was the one we were on. How's the sound now?
Yeah.
Great, good. Okay, so I was talking about the cheese wheel, and don't look too much into the details there. More or less, it is all the buzzwords in it, all the functionality which is available and necessary to run financial market infrastructure. And this is just now in a dimension that you can pick and choose from all the inner circles. And on the outer circle, at the end of the day, you will see certain services or functionalities, or as well companies which are served with this new functionality. This is more or less the idea. You see on the bottom companies, and this is the most important point, which are run by or owned by Deutsche Börse, like Xetra for trading or Clearstream for the CSD, Eurex Clearing as a CCP, or as well EEX as an exchange, European Energy Exchange. So this is a major and an important topic. We want to serve not only those services of Deutsche Börse or those products of Deutsche Börse, but we would as well envisage new services coming up, which we run with partners. And this is the examples on the light blue outer circle, where HQLX funds DLT is mentioned. I come to that in a minute. And there is even the idea to extend that further to completely separate parties, third parties, who might be interested to do services on an infrastructure which could be provided by Deutsche Börse. So this is a bit the overall idea. I think that the background to that is that Deutsche Börse has been in a position to organize markets for many years. We are running business networks and legal frameworks, and interoperability is, I think, a key topic. So all these topics where Deutsche Börse has core competencies play into this new version of a digital market infrastructure. If we now move on, please. So this is the first example, actually, as I mentioned on the previous page already, and this is a live service. So it's a startup involved here, which is called HQLAX, where we are invested. Other companies are as well invested. You see them on the bottom line. What is the topic here? I think the topic here is, or what is the issue? The issue which is solved with this service is that the mobility of collateral baskets is improved. This has been a pain point for the industry for many years in the past. You see on the bottom part of the picture, Clearstream, Euroclear, JP Morgan, Boni Mellon, BNP, and Citibank. So major security custodians, major players in the world of collateral management. But if you have your securities and your collateral different parties, it was always difficult to move them quickly and efficiently between those in a short time frame. And this service here, which was developed by HQLAX and Deutsche Börse, is overcoming this. And this is done by a so-called DCR, Digital Collateral Registry, which is then representing the baskets, and this can be moved on a DLT quite quickly. How is this achieved? It's achieved by the so-called trusted third party, which is becoming the holder of the baskets. In other words, if a client wants to participate, he moves the collateral into the account of his account of the trusted third party from all the different collateral locations where the collateral stays. And then on the this DCR is developed, is set up, it can be moved easily between the participants. So that's a bit an idea to overcome the stickiness of collateral baskets sitting in certain collateral locations. You can still hear me? Move on. The next example is related to the funds industry. Funds DLT, again another startup. I don't see the next slide yet, so I hope it will come soon.
Sorry. Yes, Thomas, could you please once again switch your mic? So because we have quite a noise here.
So
Artem, следующий slide.
Good. This is Funds DLT. Can you hear me again?
Yes, now clear. Thank you.
I have no idea what's the background on that. The check was okay some hours ago. So Funds DLT is the next example where we are working together with a partner. Funds DLT is as well a kind of a startup company which was founded in Luxembourg, and the Luxembourg Stock Exchange is as well part of that. where the issuance of fund shares and the distribution of fund shares is organized on a DLT, and they even work on quorum, so on a kind of a public blockchain. Here we are as well invested, and we work together with Funds DLT currently on the business models and on the rollout. As I have heard, the first client is going to join in the next couple of weeks. So this is another example where, let's say, a particular pain point, a particular use case was addressed together with a partner. And now we move on more into the Deutsche Börse particular use cases. The next slide, please. And this was the starting point which we had now from our end in our internal services, I would say. So we now, after trying out a few test cases, we came to the conclusion we need to start certainly with the issuance of securities. In Germany recently, the law was changed, so we have now the ability to issue a digital security. And based on that, we are developing with a group of market participants a new service for the issuance of what we call retail structured products, which are very prominent here in Germany, and particularly in the DACH region is Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Italy, Spain a bit. So a very popular product where the issuer are really issuing thousands of certificates and warrants over only 1 year, and it's a quite burdensome process. And, for that, we are now working with 10 to 12 market participants to organize the digital issuance of those products, and as well, let's say, the digital instrument, which is in the 4.4, it's the upper left-hand box, the digital instruments, the DI generator, which is more or less a digital duplicate of the instrument, which is holding all the information about the product. It has all the legal frameworks, but as well all the information you need, let's say the maturity for a warrant as well, some knockout criteria and so on. So from that angle, this DI instrument, or digital instrument, will help to organize the life cycle of.
Thomas, sorry, once again, could you please do the same things?
Mm-hmm. So I switched again.
No, it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It does not work at all.
There's some metallic sounds. I mean, backgrounds that we hear.
Yeah,
now it's clear.
It is very strange because I work with a microphone and a headset, and I haven't heard that when we tested it this morning. So I've never heard that before.
For sure.
Yeah, so very surprising.
So yeah, this is online. It can happen.
I come to the end. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So this is the topic about the retail structure product. And this is in build currently, and we will launch this service in a beta version towards the end of the year for some selected clients, and middle of next year for the entire market. So it's not restricted to this group we are working now with. It will be a new way of organizing the issuance and the life cycle of retail structured products for the European market, I would say. So very concrete and already in the build phase. And if we move to the next, I just want to give you a flavor of what we are further thinking of. Next slide, please. And this is going back now. This is a proof of concept we did recently with the Bundesbank and as well the German Finance Agency, where a digital bond was issued, which was then run by Deutsche Börse on an asset chain. This was on our 3-quarter. On the other side, I think we had the Bundesbank, and this goes now in the direction of payment. In other words, we now move in the direction of settlement and delivery versus payment. And this is a very important topic, I think, which we need to achieve as well on distributed ledgers somehow, and to organize and to come to a real DBP service. We embedded here the service of a transaction coordinator, what we call transaction coordinator, to make sure that the exchange of the asset on one hand on the asset chain and the payment, which was handled by the trigger chain by the Bundesbank, is done simultaneously. Yeah, so I think this is a very important feature. If we look to the future, we will have multiple asset chains. We will have multiple chains on which the payment will happen, and those need to be coordinated. And we think we need this kind of intermediate service here as a transaction coordinator who's making sure that this is done in an organized way. The other topic which is important here is that there is a trigger chain now, but at the end of the day, we addressed target 2. So the payment was done in existent payment chains. And as the payment, I would say, lags a bit behind the asset, we will firstly see more assets on chains and just later on the payment on chain, as we know. I think it's important to connect as well existent payment chains to asset chains. And with a trigger chain solution, the Bundesbank paved the way in that direction. They are currently working on the trigger chain introduction with the ECB and with other European central banks, and we might see this coming true as well in the next coming the couple of months or years. So, if you are further interested, now please move to the next. What we did in DLT and blockchain, you can check the links which are part of the presentation. As you see, we worked as well a bit in Switzerland. We did a lot with Bundesbank, HQLX, as mentioned, funds DLT. So if you have further questions, don't hesitate to come back to me. My details are on the slides, and I'm open for questions now.
Thank you, Thomas. Sorry for these technical issues, but thank you for a very meaningful presentation. Currently, we don't have any questions from the audience, but anyway, if there will be anything, we will let you know afterwards. Thank you for your participation.
You're welcome. Thank you.